Well, how do you do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? Always looks like I have enough light until I start the video, and then I don't have enough light, man. Anyways, how the heck are you? I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer today. I just found this yesterday, and I only bought it because it was on sale. Because, you know, I'm a tight wad. It typically runs about $25, which really isn't bad anyway. But I found it for $19.97. It is their oak cask. They are known for their moonshine, obviously. This isn't a moonshine. The grain bill is corn, rye, and barley. They don't give the amounts of which. I'm guessing it's probably more of a bourbon type mash with about 80% corn, but I don't know that. It is, says the proof on here, but boy, my light isn't very good here, and now I can't read it. I'm having some serious allergy trouble, and profile, a blend of aged bourbon and light whiskey. So yeah, there you go. They made it to be a bourbon mash. Let's say spice, walnut, and caramel. It is aged no less than 6 months, it says, so it's more of a rusted oak. It says here the proof, but now I can't. Oh, there it is, 90 proof. Goodness, could not get my eyes to focus in between my allergies and bifocals. I was struggling there. Ta-da! So I did pour this two ways, though. I'm going to do the rocks first before it gets too melty, but... Too melty, is that a word? Too melty. It's too melty, man. But anyways, but I did pour, I poured 1.5 ounces neat and 1.5 ounces rocks. The nose is very nice. See, my goal is to find quality whiskeys under $35. I don't know, it's been a couple years now, but I got a discussion with some guy, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years ago now, that inspired I've got an ongoing series on my website, tomthebeerwhisperer.com, but whiskeys under $35. And he was saying that there isn't any quality. Somebody asked a question, you know, what whiskeys, what fine whiskeys or what tasty whiskeys could you find for under $50? And some snob popped up, nothing. Well, this guy's just a jackass, right? But it set me on a quest to find quality whiskeys for under $35. And you know what? I found a bunch. I think if you're talking Irish whiskeys or Scotch, really Scotch whiskeys, there are some folks that think you can't find a good one for under $50. But there are a lot of great bourbons. A bourbon doesn't necessarily need to be 21 years old. In fact, you can find a lot of small distillery bourbons that are, you know, very young, in many cases under 2 years, that have the same quality as many commercial bourbons that have aged much longer. Many will have these proprietary practices they use to kind of help aging. A lot of them will do what they call double oak, which they will add oak to the barrel. That kind of helps the process. Some of them use smaller barrels. There are different things you can do to, you know, to mimic an aging process. That's not necessarily cheating. You know, you're still making a quality product. And that's the thing, is all these smaller distilleries, well, like this one, are making a better product. They're using a better quality. They're making a better mash. White Mule, for instance, out of Purdy, Missouri, where most commercial distilleries will barrel age, you know, at about 156 proof, somewhere in that neck of the woods. He only barrel ages at 105, gives you a cleaner product. You don't get as much yield, right? But you get a better product. So you buy his product called 27, which is basically a rusted oak whiskey, but it has the flavor and quality of a whiskey at of a longer age at a much higher price point. So I guess my point is, don't be a snob and don't assume something should cost a certain amount of money. Just drink it and enjoy it. So before I get too much water, because I did talk longer than I intended to, sometimes you get long-winded, Tom. I know, man. I can't help it. The flavors are the flavors. The aromas are deeper neat. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. That is the way it's going to be. Warm vanilla. The spice that they talk about. You might get some caramel. I'm getting more vanilla than caramel, but you might get a hint. And you do get some nutty walnut-like notes. I'm feeling more sugars on the nose on the rocks version, almost like honey. Oh, Snapple, that's good. Wow. Wow. So the walnut, they talk about walnut. I get the walnuts actually in a great big way right in the finish, man, to be honest with you. Oh, walnuts. I'm in Southwest Missouri where you get a lot of black walnuts out here. I'm almost kind of getting that pungent black walnut kind of feel, to be honest. $20. I mean, it's $20. It's not rock gut. I mean, it's not. It's not one of the. It's not 10 high. It's not Kessler. But for $20, I mean, wow, it's good. I mean, I guess for folks that think you can't get a fine whiskey or a quality whiskey for under $50, or folks that are just snobs, they're either just snobs or they're not paying attention, or both. Because this really is a nice, drinkable, quality whiskey. Now, does it have the flavors you like? I don't know. But quite frankly, it is very smooth, and it's very easy drinking, and I think it's a darn fine whiskey. I'm glad I bought it for only $20. Here's the thing, though. I would have never paid $25 for it. Never, 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 never. But I bought it because it's on sale for $19.97. Now, in the future, would I pay $25 for it? I might, because it has certain flavors I may want to go back to. It is worth every bit of $25, but I probably would have never tried it the first time had it not been on sale for $20. So there you go. Sometimes you gotta put a product on sale to get people to try it. Once they try it, they like it, then they're gonna pay the regular price for it. But sometimes it's hard to get product in folks' hands. Craft whiskeys are a lot like craft beers. I mean, there's a lot of options, man. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to hold tastings. You got to find a way to get people to try your product the first time, or they're going to keep walking by it. I'm not talking about undervaluing your product, but put it on sale for a week. Get them to try it. So, that's pretty good. I'll buy that again. It is a fine whiskey. It has more pigment than I anticipated for an only 6-month-old whiskey. Well, it says no less than 6 months, so I know it's at least 6. I kind of cringed when I first started seeing rested oak whiskeys, you know what I mean? Because I thought, they're going to charge you more for something that hasn't been aged as long. But as I've tried a lot of small, craft or boutique distillery rested oak whiskeys, many are, in my opinion, or are... Well, I prefer the taste, and are of equal quality to many of the big brand distilleries that that are charging a lot more for a product that is aged longer, but these rested oak whiskeys are fine. I was going to go outside and do a video, but it's so freaking humid out there, I'm making my wife suffer through while she has to read subtitles on MASH. Oh... I'm a bad man. I'm trying to finish the rocks here before I go to the neat, because I really don't want this getting any. I haven't getting too much water anyway. I tell you what I do know. So it is getting a lot of sweetness. Getting some caramel, some vanilla. I'm getting some honey-like and brown sugar-like notes in there as well. The black walnuts, or the walnuts, not necessarily black walnuts, but the walnuts I'm getting in a nice way right in the finish. It is a very interesting whiskey. Again, the tasting notes, they mention bourbon, but the bottle doesn't call it a bourbon. They just call it an American whiskey. So I'm kind of wondering what the mash is. I mean, it only has to be 51% to be called a bourbon. And I'm guessing it probably has more corn than 51% would be my guess. But using my Bushmills glass, I like this glass. I like it. You know, it's bulbous. It's very nice for rocks drinking because the way it's shaped, it holds that square cube nice. But it also really allows the aromas to escape and get to your nose. I've kind of where I do have a couple globe molds, but I don't really use them anymore because I love the square cubes. Actually, to be honest with you, I love the big square cubes. I've gotten to really like them even more. The fact that I can, you know, my mold does 6 cubes at a time, whereas the globe I can either do. I've got a double where I can do 2 at a time, or one I can do 1. But I don't know. I can do 6 big squares, and I really like them better. There's a distillery, a small distillery, and I don't want to mention the name, that uses the big square cubes, which is where I first had them. I really liked it. Here's the problem, though, is that as that cube gets to melt, you start to see little schmutz form on the top of your drink. And here's what why I think that happens. Because when I first got my the mold, I put it through the dishwasher. Once I did that, when I did the cubes, I got that schmutz on top just like they did. So what I did is I soaked it in some hot water, cleaned it out real good, and from then on I just rinse it with hot water. Sometimes I spray it with some white vinegar and clean it out, but I never put any soap in it anymore. And I think that's what these places are doing. When you get that drink and it starts to melt, you start to see a little schmutz around it. So I think they're putting it in a dishwasher, or they may even be washing it by hand with soap. But you know, use hot water, use white vinegar, cleans very well. Use a quat sanitizer if you're in a restaurant, but don't put soap on these molds, or you're going to get schmutz on around the top. Anyway. That's my word for the day, schmutz. No, I'm not Jewish, man. Anyways, I digress. So here, let me finish this up. I've already been on for 12 minutes. I still got my... Okay, neat. Using my Glen Farclas. I'm not I personally prefer bourbon, American whiskeys, or Irish whiskeys. There are a few Scotch whiskeys that I like. Quite frankly, for my taste buds, I prefer these. But I would like to find this whiskey just because, well, you know, my daughter got me the glass, and I love to pair the right product with the right glass. Kind of what I do. So the aromas are bigger, neat, as they should be. Warm vanilla, you get a hint of spice. Those walnut characteristics come through. I do get some walnut, but actually, to be honest with you, on the rocks, I get more walnut than neat. But the flavors are deeper. They're more pronounced. They're more nuanced neat. Having said that, don't be afraid to put something on a rock. So there you go. I've ran this a little bit longer than I want to, so I'm going to go ahead and end it, because it's probably going to take me a good 10 minutes to finish this particular glass. So I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. Whiskey-vangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all-around good guy. For $20, I recommend this highly.